Will Triple H pull a Tony Khan and go all out with the tapes next week for Smackdown as the viewership goes down and drops under 2.5 million viewers? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Yes, bit of bad news for WWE. The ratings are down. However, when you're doing a good rating, when you've got a larger audience to maintain, it is harder to do so. Therefore, you are expecting the show to drop from time to time. You can't always improve on the previous week, and that's what's happened to SmackDown this week. They are down 4% overall from last week's show, and it is worth noting that last week's show was the week after WrestleMania, so you would expect this to happen. They have went down slightly. Like I said, they're minus 4% on last week's 2.63 million viewers, which brings in this week's rating at 2.499 million. So there were 1,000 viewers of hitting 2.5 mil, and in the demo they were 0.76, which I believe was just over 1 million viewers overall between that 18 to 49 demographic. So we know Jericho used to call himself the demo god. I mean, maybe Cody Rhodes can steal that tagline, or whoever you're giving credit for this SmackDown rating. Might have went down, but it's still a good one.
Is it a brown down? Not quite. It's not quite that bad, but I still think WWE is going to be living off the hysteria of Roman Reigns' reign. Pun intended, coming to an end. The Rock, like the Bloodline, like you can throw in Tammy Tonga, right? Oh, and try and pretend that wins and losses matter in the Camp of Solo Sikoa. But at the end of the day, like it's the scenario that's drawn. All right, we can pretend that Cody Rhodes is a draw, but is he the guy that's boosted the rating the past couple of weeks? It's just going to go down. See if these ratings are doing the same in a month's time, 2 months' time.
I'll give Cody Rhodes some respect.
I'll give him fucking respect, but it's not going to happen, right?
I don't think it will happen. I think we will see a
minor miracle if it happens.
I think the further away we get for WrestleMania, the lower the ratings will get, and I mean, I'm going to imagine that in a few months' time, SmackDown will be closer to 2 mil than it will be to 2.5 mil. And I think the same with Raw. I think that Raw, again, will be, unfortunately, closer to 1.5 mil than it will to 2 mil. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how Cody Rhodes gets on. We'll see when Punk comes back. We'll see if they bring any other big names back. We don't know what they're going to do right now, but obviously, healthier position than AEW, that is for sure. And I'm willing to bet Triple H will not be reaching for any tapes, whether it be McMahon tapes or Montreal tapes or any sort of
Chris
tapes.
Benoit tapes.
Although that is a tape that I think would draw a big rating. But overall, this week's episode is up 7% on the past 4 weeks. So for average, last 4 weeks was doing 2.345 mil, and this is obviously up 7% on that. So I mean, it's still good that after WrestleMania, especially around that period, they're still overall up on the past 4 weeks worth of TV shows on average, so that's good. And the demo is up 14%, which is pretty good. I think it just feels like a fresh period for WWE. A lot of times WrestleMania does feel like a reset button almost. I mean, I know we hear about sometimes the season premiere. I think they title that around August time. They say they're doing the season premiere, and then some people consider January 1, day 1. But for me, I think the Raw after WrestleMania, that's almost to me when the new season begins. That's kind of like the way it was in the games as well, GM mode or Universe mode. It's like you always started on the Raw after WrestleMania. So that for me is when WWE kind of begins a new season, so to speak, or a new cycle. And I think that kind of just generates a little bit more interest. So yeah, we will see how these ratings go. But for right now, I mean, they're doing good. The ratings are solid. On Fox, obviously WWE SmackDown will not be staying on Fox, so we'll be interested to see what happens when they move to USA Network to replace Raw. And be interested to see what happens when Raw goes to Netflix as well, because we won't be dealing with ratings. I'm sure we'll just be dealing with, well, technically it is ratings, but it's not calculated the same. It'll just be, I mean, we'll probably see Raw in the top 10. You'll probably go on Netflix and Raw will be top 10 trending. I imagine that's how it's going to work.
We do have a gimmick though where Raw goes off USA Network in September, but the Netflix deal doesn't start till January. So what network's Raw going to be on for the final 3 months?
Yeah, that is actually, that's a strange one. I'm surprised.
Because they're not going to get a better network. I think Netflix might just bring it forward. But then that seems like a pretty big deal to just bring something forward like that. That's like a minor league thing.
I think if they were going to bring it forward, they would have just agreed the deal for that time, because when the new USA Network was ending. So, yeah, we'll have to wait. Spike TV. Maybe they can compete with TNA. But if we look at the YouTube numbers here, so as of yesterday at 4 p.m, so we're talking Monday 4 p.m, so roughly about what, maybe 2 full days, two and a half days after these clips were uploaded. The number one clip was Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga kicking Jimmy Uso out of the bloodline. That's got 1.7 mil, and then Cody Rhodes was in second place with 1.348 mil. So that was only 2 clips for SmackDown, doing over 1 million views. So obviously people interested in seeing the new bloodline member and finding out who Cody Rhodes' new challenger was. Other than that, though, I mean, not that much. It's a big drop-off to the likes of LA Knight and AJ Styles winning their number one contender matches. And then, I mean, even further back, we have the likes of, like, Jade Cargill, right? I think that Jade Cargill, like, she's got this look and stuff, and no one's denying that. But for me, WWE have done a bad job. They've almost done what AEW does when they bring in an ex-WWE person and expecting them just to be over or just to draw, because they were in this company. Like, to the average WWE fan, Jade Cargill is just some woman that randomly appeared. She's not this star. You have to make her into that.
No, you do, and what I would say as well is, like, even with the Cody Rhodes segment, like, it's called Cody Rhodes announces his next challenger. It is kind of clickbait.
It is misleading, yeah, because he didn't really announce anything.
He just read through who he could be taking on.
We got 6 options, you know what I mean? It's not like Cody Rhodes came out and actually pinpointed it, and he made this mega announcement of who his challenger was going to be. So, yeah, in terms of the clips, guys, that was the YouTube views. So, I mean,
also, it's getting outdrawn by Tama Tonga, though. We have to bear that in mind.
I mean, true, but it's a new member of the bloodline. I mean, I think Angie got kicked, Jimmy got kicked out, so I think you would kind of expect that. We'll be interested to see what happens with Jimmy Uso now, though. I believe they've got this draft coming up as well. Will they shake things up? I mean, I wonder what direction they're going to go. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but SmackDown holding steady in the ratings right now. We'll keep you updated when the quarter by quarter hours come out. I think it'll be interesting to have a look at them, because you can kind of break it down a bit more and see who truly is drawn and who's not drawn. But I think the YouTube videos are always a good indication of who's just creating the most interest, because that's people really that's people that either watch the show and want to see it again, or people that didn't check out the show but they want to check out something specific. So there would have been times when we weren't really reviewing wrestling on YouTube where we would have just looked at the clips, and maybe if there was something that caught our eye, we would check out the clip. So, I mean, I think that's a good indication of who's over and who's drawing, and who's obviously bringing in viewership, because if you might not want to sit through a 2-hour show, but if there's a particular wrestler that you do like, you might be thinking, right, well, I'm just going to go on YouTube and watch his clips. So, yeah, Bloodline seems to be the most popular thing in WWE. And then Cody Rhodes, I mean, fair play. He's generating interest right now. We'll see what happens. But everyone else just not really doing much. I do think with WWE, I mean, it is the brand, it is the company that's drawn more so than the wrestlers themselves. But we'll see.
If Cody Rhodes is still getting over 1 million in a couple of months' time, when it's like, oh, Cody Rhodes announces his opponent for Money in the Bank, and he's getting like 1.5 million, I'll say fair do.
Fair do. Anyway, guys, like I said, quarter ratings coming out soon. We'll catch you in the next one. Beanfog Wrestling. Thanks for watching, and peace.